I often think about what happens after we die. Some people believe in heaven, reincarnation, while others think there is nothing. But I know there is something that can't be prepared for. How do I know this? Because I've experienced it. It started about 8 months ago. I used to be a party animal, drinking, trying different drugs like acid and shrooms. One night, my friend called and asked if I wanted to try a new drug they got. They called it facade. I laughed at the name, but my friend was insistent that it was the newest drug and we would be the first to try it. To make sure it was safe, I asked about the dealer and my friend was able to give me satisfactory answers. So, I agreed to try it. I wish I never did. The reality of what awaits us after death is beyond my imagination. I can't imagine it. The horrors are beyond comprehension. I agreed to meet with my friend at his place that evening since I was busy over the weekend. I drove to his house, making a few stops to grab snacks and drinks along the way. After about an hour, I arrived with party supplies in tow. There were already 6 people there, and the kitchen island was filled with food and drinks. I added my contribution to the spread. I surveyed the room and noticed that some people were excited, others appeared nervous, and a few seemed reluctant. I took my spot on a beanbag in the corner, away from the crowd, to enjoy my high in peace. Just as I started to relax, my friend handed me a small white tablet the size of a pen tip. Despite the bitter taste, I took the pill and waited for it to take effect. Suddenly, I lost consciousness. I woke up to the sounds of chains, screams, crying, and laughter. The laughter was deep and inhuman. I tried to understand my surroundings and saw that I was in an empty room. I wasn't hurt, tied up, or chained, I was just lying there. As I sat up, I heard the door begin to open, and my heart raced with fear. But what came through the door was beyond my worst nightmare. I found myself in a room, faced with a grotesque figure. Its mangled body was covered in scars, and its skin was stretched tight, causing its bones to snap and crack with each step. Its face was a grotesque combination of bird and alligator, with stupid eyes and missing lips. Its fingers were misshapen, with one hand having 4 fingers and the other 3. Its legs were wrapped in razor wire that inflicted new cuts with each step. Spikes jutted from its back, and the smell of death lingered around it. As it approached me, I crawled backwards in fear. In a ragged voice, it commanded me to follow. With a turn, it headed for the door, beckoning me to come along. I followed the creature, moving cautiously. I was afraid of what would happen if I didn't comply. As I walked down the hall filled with doors, I heard the sounds of screams and crying coming from each one. I covered my ears, trying to block out the noise and avoid succumbing to panic. I wasn't paying attention and stumbled into the creature, which had stopped without my noticing. I cried out in pain as I was impaled on the beast's spikes. I heard the creature screech and bellow in pain too. Just as I was about to black out, I felt the creature grab my hair and throw me to the ground. My breathing became heavy as the pain gradually subsided. I regained control of myself and opened my eyes to see the creature fixing its arm back in place. I apologized, though I wasn't sure why. The high was too intense, and these hallucinations felt all too real. The creature paused and looked at me, but I couldn't read its expression as its face remained unchanged. I held my breath, waiting for its response. Eventually, the creature turned and continued walking, leaving me to follow. I paid close attention to its every move as we continued. We made turn after turn through identical-looking hallways, with the same sounds playing over and over. Hours went by as we walked like this, and my legs began to give out. I fell to my hands and knees, but the beast simply stopped and waited for me. One more, it grunted, and I struggled to get back up. My pace was slow and I had to pause often, but the beast never seemed impatient. We finally arrived at 2 massive mahogany doors, and the beast pushed them open despite the pain it caused. It screamed as the wires pierced its skin and bones broke, but it didn't stop until the doors were fully open. I felt the urge to help the beast, and so, I repaired the wires to allow for more movement while still holding its arms in place. Once I came to my senses, I quickly backed away, but the beast just stood there, its emotions impossible to determine. I retreated a bit, giving the beast some space. It remained still for a long time, then I heard a soft voice asking why. I was unsure of what to say, but I felt compelled to help due to my caring nature. I timidly told the beast I didn't like to see someone in pain. The beast started to laugh in a raspy, dry, and wheezing manner, causing me to feel ashamed for my kindness. I watched as the beast continued to walk, still laughing, until it reached the center of the empty room where a stand with a microphone stood. The beast instructed me to stand and wait there, pointing to the stand. I made my way over to the stand and took my place, but suddenly I felt a sharp pain in my feet. I let out a scream as the pain spread to my legs. I looked down to see red hot wires wrapped around my calf, searing my flesh and meat. Tears streamed down my face as I bit my tongue to suppress my screams. I tasted the blood from my hard bite. Then I heard the sound of a whip cracking, and that's when I noticed them. I was in shock when I saw two towering figures seated on thrones in front of me. How did they get here? I tried to calm my mind as the pain subsided. The beast that led me here walked over to the throne and whispered something to them. As it stepped away, they started to speak without making a sound or moving their lips. The voice was inside my head. This is the judgment after death. The voice paused and my mind raced. Had they just said I was dead? How was that possible? We were just tripping, this wasn't supposed to happen. My breathing became short and my body started to shake. The voice interrupted my thoughts. Silence. Tears welled up in my eyes again. The first option is to torture those who deserve it. The second option is to care for those who have been. The reality hit me that I would never escape this place. I was forced to make a decision. Care, I softly spoke. The beast that brought me here started laughing again, wildly tossing his head back with a bone-cracking movement. He let out a piercing scream, and the floor started to split open. My eyes widened in horror as a cage rose into view. It was filled with everyone who was at the party. Their bodies were twisted and broken, and their cries were dry and ragged. They didn't move, only cried. Take care of them, then you may leave, the voice echoed in my head. I was stunned. What? I stammered. They have not earned their fate, the voice continued. They are the reason you are here. I approached the cage and saw my friend among the damaged bodies. I regretfully said sorry as I pulled him from the cage. Every time I moved him, he cried out in agony. His bones were delicate and his body was severely deformed. I noticed what the beast was as I looked at the table. It was the same as him. I was meant to repair them using the wire. Overwhelmed with sadness, I fell to my knees and cried. Once I could no longer shed any tears, I mustered all my bravery and started cutting the wire into pieces. I repeatedly took each person out of the cage and wired them together, causing them to scream in pain until they passed out. I was covered in blood and exhausted, but managed to make the wires tight enough to support them, but not too tight to restrict their movement. I struggled to stay conscious as a loud beeping noise filled my ears, causing my head to feel like it was going to burst. Despite the pain, I tried to stand, but fell back down. The beeping got louder and louder until I couldn't bear it anymore and eventually lost consciousness. I woke up to a dazzling light, with sounds of voices all around me. Blinking my eyes, I tried to bring my surroundings into focus. I lifted my hand to shield my eyes and tried to sit up, but my body felt stiff and sore. My mother was sitting next to the bed and put her hand on my arm. She was crying and told me that the doctor had said there was a chance I wouldn't wake up and that I had been in a coma for 8 months. She said my friends didn't make it due to a higher dose of the substance they took. The beast was in the corner of the room, watching me, as a constant reminder of what awaits in the afterlife.